90 cents. That is the profit on the burger in your hand. You flip burgers at 19 for $9 an hour. You do not know it yet, but you will own 40 franchises by 45. Right now you have a paper hat, a crooked name tag, a schedule somebody else controls. You think this is a story about burgers. It is not. It is about one number that leaves the register every day, about the man who catches it, about how he owns the name on your chest. 4 out of 5 franchisees own exactly one store. Nobody tells you the price of the 40 before you pay it. Level 1. The crew member. You are 19. The grill runs at 400 degrees. You learn it fast because you have to. The clock above the drive-thru is the real boss. Under 90 seconds a car, that is the rule, not your rule. Someone wrote it in an office you will never see, in a city you will never visit. You flip, you wrap, you mop. You clock out smelling like fryer oil every single night. It gets in your hair. It follows you home on the bus. The pay is $9 an hour. You take home maybe $1,400 a month. It is gone before it lands. Rent, phone, gas. The math never closes. You are not lazy. You are just standing at the bottom of something, and you cannot see the shape of it yet. There is a kid who started the same week, Marcus. He is faster than you on the grill. He wants it more, or he says it louder. You split fries at midnight behind the store. You both talk about owning one someday. Your own store, your name on the lease. It sounds like the moon. Then one afternoon you see him, the owner. He pulls up in a truck that costs more than you make in a year. He does not clock in. He does not touch the grill. He walks to the little office. He signs something. He talks to the manager for 6 minutes. Then he leaves. Someone says he owns 3 of these, 3 stores. You stand there holding a spatula, grease on your wrist, and a door opens in your head. This building has a second floor. You have never once seen it. He was paid while he slept last night. You were not. Same building, same burgers, 2 completely different machines. You look down at the name tag pinned to your chest. It is crooked. It is always crooked. And it hits you standing there. The name on it is not your name. It is his. No, it is not even his. It belongs to a company you have never met. He just rents it, like you rent your hours. You start to wonder what he knows that you do not. That question is the whole story. You just started paying for the answer. Level 2. The shift lead. A few years pass. You do not quit. That is the first strange thing. Marcus jumps to a better paying job at a warehouse. You stay. You stay inside the machine because you want to learn how it turns. They notice. They hand you keys, a title, shift lead, a raise to $16 an hour. It feels like a promotion. It is not. It is an audition. Now you see the machine from the inside. You run the schedule. You count the drawer at close. You place the food order on Sunday nights. And for the first time, you see the numbers, the real ones, not your paycheck, the store's paycheck. The store does about $90,000 in a good month. It sounds like a fortune. Then you watch it drain. Food cost, 30 cents on every dollar. Labor, 25 cents. Rent, power, napkins, cups, the straws nobody thinks about. What is left at the bottom is thin, thinner than you ever guessed from the grill. But 2 lines never move. Not in a good month, not in a bad one. Royalty, 4 cents on every dollar. Ad fund, 4 cents more. 8 cents of every single dollar that hits the register. Gone before rent, gone before payroll, gone before you. You ask the manager where it goes. He shrugs. Corporate, he says. That is the whole answer. It is the only answer anyone ever gives. Corporate, a word that means up, a word that means away. You watch it happen with your own eyes. About $7,000 leaves this store every month for a name on the sign. Nobody in the building votes on it. Nobody in the building ever sees where it lands. It just goes up the pipe. You do the math on the back of an order ticket after close, and you feel 2 things at once. You feel small, and you feel awake, because now you understand the trick. The store makes money for someone who never walks in the door, who never smells the oil. The name on the sign eats first. You do not want the keys anymore. Keys are for the person who stays late. You want the thing the keys open. You want the lease. You want to be the one the 8 cents flows toward, not the one who counts it out. Level 3. The first store. It takes years. Years to save a deposit. Years to get a bank to take you seriously. A shift lead with a paper hat passed does not walk in and get $1,500,000. The franchise fee alone is $45,000. Read that again. $45,000 just for the right to use the name. Before a single burger. Before you own one fryer. You pay them to let you pay them forever. Then the build. The equipment. The sign. The ovens. The lot. The drive-through speaker you once stood behind. All in, it is $1,500,000. You do not have $1,500,000. Nobody at your level does. So you sign an SBA loan, and you put your house behind it. Personal guarantee. Small words, huge teeth. If the store dies, the bank does not just take the store, it takes the house, your kids' rooms, all of it. You sign anyway. Your hand actually shakes on the last page. Then it is done. You are the owner. And that night, opening night, you are on your knees mopping the lobby at midnight. Owner, janitor, same person, same two hands. Now do the math with me, the way you learned it as a shift lead, but it is yours now. The store rings up $1,200,000 in the first year. Food, $360,000. Labor, $300,000. Rent and power, a heavy chunk more. Royalty, $48,000, straight up the pipe. Ad fund, $48,000, right behind it. And what lands in your pocket at the end is about $180,000. $180,000. More than you took home in 10 years with a spatula. You sit in the dark store after close and you feel enormous, unstoppable. You did it. The name on the sign is still not yours, but the lease is. Finally, the lease is. That feeling lasts about one night, because by the end of the first month, you understand exactly what you bought. You did not buy freedom. You bought a job. The best paid, most exhausting job you will ever hold. You open. You close. You cover the sick calls. You are the manager, the fixer, the mop. Take you out for a week and the whole thing wobbles. And a job has one owner. And an owner has two hands. Two hands can hold one store. Two hands cannot hold 40. You know that now, in your gut. You just do not know yet what it will cost to let go of the grill. Level 4. The 3-store wall. So you open a second store. It goes well. You are proud. Then a third. And the third one nearly ends you. Here is why. One store, you run with your two hands. You are everywhere in it. You feel the room. You smell when the oil is old. You know every regular by their order. Two stores, you stretch. You drive between them. You still just about hold it. 3, you cannot. You cannot stand in 3 buildings at once. It is not effort. It is physics. So you need a manager in each store. A general manager to be you when you are not there. And a real one is not cheap. $65,000 a year, times 3. Almost $200,000 a year just to be in 3 places. Watch what that does. Your beautiful $180,000 a store becomes about $115,000 the moment you pay someone to be you. The margin does not vanish. It gets a salary. It walks out the door in someone else's name. Then it gets worse. Your best general manager quits on a Friday. No warning. A better offer across town. And the store he ran does not stop needing a boss. So you cover it. You are back on the grill at midnight, in a shirt that no longer fits the man you became. And here is the number that breaks people. While your back is turned, one store's food cost drifts from 30 cents to 34 cents on the dollar. 4 cents. It sounds like nothing. On $1,200,000 in sales, 4 cents is $48,000 a year. Gone. Bleeding out of a walk-in cooler because you blinked. Because you were in a different building. You drive between 3 stores at midnight. You sleep 4 hours. And here is the cruel joke of this level. You have 3 stores now, and you feel poorer than the night you had one. Poorer and far more tired. This is the wall. Most franchisees die right here. The jump from 1 to 3 breaks more owners than any recession ever printed. They do not go broke on the first store. They go broke on the third. Do you remember Marcus? He got here too. He opened his 1 store, then his second, then his third. And the wall took him. He sold all 3 back, cheap, and went to work for the buyer. As a general manager, in a store he used to own. To survive this level, you have to do the one thing you swore you never would. You have to stop touching the grill. Level 5. the area developer. So you stop. It is harder than any 16-hour shift. You take your hands off the grill and you never put them back. It feels like grief. You mourn the worker you were. Then you become something he could not imagine. You stop being a man with stores. You become a builder of systems. You write down how you close a register, how you train a 19-year-old, how you smell old oil. Everything that lived in your 2 hands you put on paper so it can live in 100 other hands. You hire a director of operations, someone above the managers, someone who watches the food costs so you never have to blink again. And then the franchisor offers you something they never offered the guy with 1 store. A development agreement. Here is the deal. You promise to open 5 more stores in 5 years, in writing. In return, they hand you a territory, your own county, exclusive. Nobody else may plant the brand there, not a soul. It is yours to fill, corner by corner. You are not a franchisee anymore. You are a developer, and the money changes shape. This is the part nobody at the bottom understands. The bank stops looking at your house. It starts looking at your cash flow. Your stores throw off millions a year now. Steady, provable. So the bank lends against that river, not against your walls. You refinance the whole portfolio, and you pull $2 million out of stores you already own, in cash. That is the down payment on 3 more. The bank funds the rest against the river. Read that slowly. The stores build the stores now. You stopped using your money a long time ago. Now the machine funds itself. You go from 3 to 8, from 8 to 15. You are the biggest operator in the region. And one spring, the franchisor flies you to the annual conference. A ballroom, 1,000 people. They put your face on a screen the size of a wall. Top developer of the year. They say your name. People clap. You stand in that light and you believe it. And you should. You are winning. This is real. You built this from a paper hat, but you have never once followed the pipe to the top. Every store you cut the ribbon on sends more money up it. Faster now. You are so busy filling your county that you forget to ask a simple question. Whose county is your county in? Level 6. The 40. 26 years after the paper hat, you have 40 stores. Say it slowly. 40. Your stores ring up $48 million a year. Altogether. You have a headquarters now. A real one. With your logo on the glass door. 1,200 people wear a name tag because of you. Your own cash flow clears $5 million a year. The kid who took home $1,400 a month clears $5 million a year. You made it. You are, finally, the man in the truck. Somewhere, a 19-year-old is watching you sign something and leave. Same door, same 6 minutes. And then, on a slow night, alone in that headquarters, you finally follow the pipe, all the way up. You have the numbers now, so you run them. Every store still pays 8 cents on the dollar up the line. Always did. 4 cents royalty. 4 cents ad fund. Across 40 stores, on $48 million in sales, that is about $3,840,000 a year. Almost $4 million. Leaving your registers. Flowing past you. Up. So you finally ask the question you avoided for 26 years. Up to whom? Who owns the name on your sign? You look it up that night, and the floor moves under you. The brand is not owned by a founder, not by a family in a nice house. It is owned by a private equity firm, Rourke Capital. And they do not only own your brand, they own Subway. They own Dunkin' and Arby's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Baskin Robbins, Jimmy John's, Sonic. Tens of thousands of stores. Hundreds of thousands of workers in paper hats, right now, at 400 degrees. You sit with that for a long time. You own 40 stores. They own the name on all 40. They owned the name on your chest at 19. They owned it before you knew they existed. Your whole climb, all 26 years of it, happened on land they already held the deed to. You built an empire. You truly did. And it sits, all of it, on the ground floor of a taller building. You climbed to the top of your ladder, and your ladder, it turns out, was leaning against theirs. Their ladder starts 1 inch above your highest rung, and it goes up somewhere you cannot see. The 8 cents never stopped. Not for one burger, not in 26 years. You just got big enough, finally, to see where it was always going. You keep your first name tag in a drawer at that headquarters, the crooked one, $9 an hour. You take it out that night, after the numbers, and you hold it under the desk lamp. The name on it was never yours. You always half knew that. It belonged to a company, and that company belongs to Rourke. So the name you flipped burgers under at 19, and the name on 40 stores at 45 is the same name. And you never owned it. Not for one single day. You rented it, by the burger, for 26 years. And every burger paid them 8 cents to keep renting. You own the stores. You built the stores. You never owned the story. Somewhere tonight, a 19-year-old is clipping on that same crooked tag. First shift, $9 an hour. The grill climbs to 400 degrees. The clock over the drive-thru starts its count. He thinks the owner in the truck is the top of the world. He does not know yet what the top pays to the top above it. He will learn. They always do. The clock over the drive-thru never stops. It just finds the next kid to start the count. You did not buy the brand. You spent your whole life renting it and paying every day to make it worth more for someone whose name you finally know. Watch what happens when you stop renting another man's name and buy a dying business every boomer forgot to sell, one that is finally, fully yours.